My name is Natalie Reed, and I'm 29 years old. 3 days ago, my boyfriend's credit card got declined at the mall in front of a line of strangers. Technically, it wasn't his card. It was mine, or at least my account. And technically, I'm the one who made sure it declined. You could call it petty. He certainly did. His mother used the words cruel and vindictive. His best friend preferred psycho. Me? I call it a very expensive wake-up call for both of us. I work in software development. I make decent money for someone who spends most of the day in hoodies, staring at a screen, talking to people on Slack more than in real life. I have a 401k, an emergency fund, and a spreadsheet for literally everything. My boyfriend Dylan is 26. His job description is murky. If you ask him, he's a content creator. If you look at his tax returns, he's a guy who posts on Instagram and TikTok trying to become an influencer and makes maybe $800 a month on a good month. We've been together about 18 months. We don't live together, but it kind of feels like we do. His hoodie is draped over the back of my couch. Half his skincare lives in my bathroom cabinet. My freezer has more frozen acai packets than actual food because smoothie bowls perform well with his audience. It wasn't always like this. 6 months ago, when he asked me to add him as an authorized user on one of my credit cards, it sounded reasonable. We were traveling together more. Weekend trips, little getaways, the occasional overnight in a city with good restaurants and better cocktails. We were constantly Venmoing each other back and forth for gas and hotels and takeout. It would just be easier, he'd said, big brown eyes, soft and hopeful. I can put our shared stuff on your card and you can pay it off. Less math, less keeping track. I make around 95 grand a year, a solid salary, especially compared to his fluctuating brand income. A part of me felt proud. I liked being the stable one, the responsible one. So I added him. I got him a card with his name on it and set a $3,000 limit on it, reasonable for flights and Airbnbs and the occasional nice dinner. Except shared expenses slowly morphed into other things. A run to Starbucks here, a Target haul there. Investment pieces from boutiques that looked suspiciously like regular clothes with bigger price tags. I noticed. Of course I noticed. The transactions hit my phone as notifications. $65 at a nail salon, $90 at Sephora, $140 at a boutique I'd never heard of. None of those were our trips. None of those were shared. At first, I told myself I was overreacting. I'm a good girlfriend. He's building something. It'll even out. I adjusted my budget, paid the card, swallowed the irritation. Then, last Thursday, on my lunch break, I made the mistake of opening Instagram. Dylan had posted a new grid, a whole rework of his profile. It was very aesthetic, I'll give him that. Muted tones, minimalist coffee cups, mirror selfies with perfectly rumpled sheets in the background, gym shots with captions about discipline and hustle. It looked like a catalog for aspirational single guy in the city energy. I scrolled, smiling a little despite myself, until something felt off. I couldn't see myself anywhere. I went back, slower this time, thumb moving from photo to photo. Trip to Miami? Just him on a balcony. That birthday dinner I'd spent weeks planning? A shot of the dessert, no trace of me. The concert we'd gone to together? A blurry crowd shot and his face lit by stage lights. The photos I'd taken of him, those were still there. The ones where I'd been the one behind the camera, making sure the lighting hit just right. That content survived the rebrand. The ones where I was in the frame with him? Gone. My pulse spiked. I went all the way back. 18 months of posts, not a single picture of me left. Not one. It was like I'd been erased from his life in curated, beige-tinted squares. For a minute, I just stared at my screen, the cafeteria noise around me fading into static. I could hear my own pulse in my ears. Then I texted him. Me. Hey, I noticed you deleted all our photos together. The 3 dots popped up almost immediately. Dylan. Oh yeah, I'm rebranding the feed, going for a more cohesive aesthetic. Aesthetic. Me. So, no pictures of your girlfriend fits the aesthetic? Dylan. Babe, it's just Instagram. It's not that deep. Not that deep. My stomach twisted. Me. We've been together a year and a half. Dylan. I know. And you know we're solid, but couple content doesn't really fit my vibe anymore. My engagement's way up since I cleaned the grid. It's more solo guy living his best life energy. My followers respond better to it. Solo guy. I stared at the words, feeling like someone had punched me just under the ribs. Me. So I'm bad for your engagement? Dylan. Don't be dramatic. It's not personal. It's branding. You understand, right? The thing is, I do understand branding. I understand data and algorithms and optimization. I also understand what it feels like to realize your boyfriend is totally fine presenting himself to the world as single if it means a bump in likes. I didn't respond right away. I finished my lunch on autopilot, went back to my desk, stared at lines of code without really seeing them. Maybe I was being dramatic, I thought. It's just social media. It doesn't change what happens offline. He's still at my place all the time. He still kisses me goodnight. He still reaches for my hand when we cross the street. But another voice, quieter and sharper, whispered, "If it's not that deep, why delete you at all?" I made it through the rest of the day. Barely. At 6 p.m., I drove home, dropped my bag by the door, and instead of opening Netflix like usual, I opened my banking app. The credit card balance was higher than I'd expected. 300-something at a boutique 2 days ago. A big brunch bill from last weekend. He'd gone with his friends, not me. Another Sephora charge. A gym apparel website. My irritation solidified into something colder. This wasn't just aesthetics. This was a guy who'd erased me from his public life while quietly using my money to fund the image he wanted to project. I clicked on Manage Authorized Users. His name stared back at me, Dylan Carter. My finger hovered for a second. We're dating, I reminded myself. We share things. Relationships take compromise. Then I heard his voice in my head. Solo guy, living his best life. I hit Remove Authorized User. A confirmation box popped up. Are you sure you want to remove this user? Their card will stop working immediately. Yes, I was sure. I tapped Confirm. The email pinged my inbox right away. You have successfully removed an authorized user from your account. It took less than 3 minutes to undo what I'd set up months ago. I put my phone down, went to the kitchen, and started boiling water for pasta. I should have felt guilty. Instead, I felt weirdly calm, like lining up a row of falling dominoes and finally flicking the first one. Around 8 p.m., my phone started buzzing nonstop. Unknown number. I ignored it. Then a text flashed across my screen from Dylan's saved contact. He must have borrowed someone else's phone. Dylan. Babe, my card isn't working. I'm at the mall. The cashier is staring at me. What the hell? I watched the dots appear, disappear, reappear. Dylan, this is so embarrassing. Did something happen with your account? Answer your phone. Another buzz. Dylan, why would you do this to me? The calm inside me crystallized into something sharper. I typed slowly. Me. You deleted me from your Instagram for your aesthetic. I deleted you from my credit card for my financial aesthetic. I stared at it for a long second, then added one more line. Me. Don't come over. We're done. Good luck with your aesthetic. I hit send. Then I blocked his number, set my phone face down on the counter, and drained the pasta water. Outside my window, the city lights blinked like notifications I didn't have to answer. Inside, for the first time in months, my balance sheet and my life felt like it belonged to me. I woke up Friday morning to a phone vibrating so aggressively it rattled against my nightstand. At first, I thought it was my alarm having a meltdown. Then I remembered. I had blocked Dylan last night, which meant whoever was calling wasn't him. I flipped the phone over. 83 text messages. 83. All from random numbers. I opened the first few. They were clearly Dylan, typing from any phone he could get his hands on. Babe, my card isn't working. Hello? The cashier is literally staring at me. Why would you embarrass me like this? This is financial abuse. Answer your phone. People are watching me. You made me look broke. The words financial abuse made me bark out a shocked laugh. Abuse? Because I stopped letting him treat my credit line like a vending machine? Then the tone shifted. You're being childish. It's just Instagram. You know I love you. This is just petty revenge. We need to talk now. Now. I'm coming over. That one made my chest tighten. Nope. I reblocked every unfamiliar number and tossed the phone onto the bed like it was infected. I made coffee, fed the cat, pretended I wasn't waiting for the doorbell. It rang around 1 p.m. I checked the doorbell camera feed. Dylan stood there, hair a little messy, still wearing his boutique shopping bag across his shoulder like some tragic declined card Jesus. He jabbed the doorbell repeatedly, alternating between knocking and pacing. Nat, open the door. We need to talk about this like adults. Adults. Big word coming from someone who deleted his girlfriend for engagement analytics. I watched him press his forehead to the door like he expected it to magically dissolve. After 10 minutes, he stormed off. The moment he disappeared down the hall, my phone buzzed. A text from an unfamiliar number. Not him this time, his best friend. You need to talk to him. He's devastated. I didn't respond. Another message hit immediately. You're being selfish. He's trying to build a brand. You should support him. Brand. I finally typed back. He deleted every photo of us. I deleted his access to my money. Fair trade. His reply came instantly. It's not about photos. It's business. You don't understand content creation. Me. Then he shouldn't have a problem paying for things with his own money. Best friend. OMG, you are so dramatic. It's literally Instagram, not real life. Me. Then he can pay for real life things with real life money. Blocked. I sat back on the couch as the silence washed over me. But peace never lasts long in family drama. At 3 p.m., my phone rang again. A new number, older woman's voice. Is this Natalie? Yes. This is Dylan's mother. I closed my eyes. Of course it was. I'm calling, she said, with the tone of someone auditioning for a role as the queen of disapproval. To tell you what you did was cruel and vindictive. I pinched the bridge of my nose. What I did, I said evenly, was remove an authorized user from my credit card. You humiliated my son at the mall. Your son has been using my money without permission. He needs that card. Why? To maintain his online presence. The outfits, the makeup, the brunch outings, those are investments. I almost choked on air. Investments in what? His future. If he had better equipment and clothes, he could be making real money. I stared at the wall. Your son makes $800 a month, Mrs. Carter. That's because you are sabotaging him now. I laughed, a short, stunned sound. I didn't sabotage anything, I said. I respected his boundaries. He wanted to look single. Now his finances match. You're being petty. I'm being practical. She sucked in a sharp breath. Young lady, you have no idea. I hung up. Almost immediately, an email popped in from Dylan. A novel-length one. I skimmed it. He was hurt by my overreaction. The photos were deleted because couple content doesn't perform well with his demographic. He needed time to reassess our relationship, but in the meantime, he had expenses, and I needed to honor my commitment to support his goals. At the bottom, he'd attached a list. Photography session, $400, new ring light, $200, wardrobe refresh, $600, website hosting, $180, miasis. Content needs, $300, total, $1,680. Please Venmo directly since my card isn't working. My brain went very still. Then I typed one word. No. Sent. Blocked. I sat back, sipping my coffee, proud of myself for the first time in 24 hours. That feeling lasted exactly until my boss called me into his office Monday morning. Hey, Natalie, he said, looking uncomfortable. So, I got a strange email today. My stomach plummeted. What kind of email? He turned his monitor. A message from Dylan claiming I was harassing him online and expressing concern for her mental state, asking if the company had HR policies for domestic situations. I stared at it, speechless. My boss rubbed his temple. I deleted it. Seemed like drama, but I wanted to give you a heads up. I exhaled shakily. I haven't contacted him once since Thursday. He's angry I removed him from my credit card. My boss snorted softly. He tried to get you in trouble at work over a credit card. Apparently. Document everything, he advised, just in case. I nodded, throat dry. I left the office feeling hollow, like someone had scooped out my insides and replaced them with dread. That evening, I got home to find a medium-sized package at my door. Inside was everything I'd ever bought Dylan. Birthday gifts, Christmas presents, a sweatshirt he borrowed and never returned. No note, just a box full of memories he wanted to weaponize into guilt. Instead, I felt free. I pulled out the sweatshirt, folded it neatly, and put it back in my closet where it belonged. A soft final click inside my chest. I didn't know it yet, but the real chaos hadn't even started. By Tuesday morning, I was starting to believe the drama had peaked. I was wrong. I was so wrong. At 9:17 a.m., I opened my mailbox and stared at an envelope stamped with a law firm logo. For half a second, my brain refused to process it. Then, very slowly, the words, "Demand for payment" came into focus across the top of the letter. I read it twice, then a third time. According to Dylan's lawyer, I owed him $4,200 for financial support promised during the relationship. Expenses incurred in reliance on said support. I stood frozen in my hallway, holding the paper like it might burst into flames. Promised? Relied on? Was he out of his mind? I dialed the number on the letterhead. A woman picked up. Law Office of Lester and Wolf. Hi, I said tightly. I just received a demand letter from you regarding my ex-boyfriend, Dylan Carter. I'd like to know what exactly this is about. Are you the defendant listed in the letter? Defendant. Apparently, I was on trial for the crime of not funding a grown man's selfies. If that means the person he's trying to shake down, I said, then yes. Ma'am, my client has documentation showing a pattern of financial support that was abruptly terminated, causing him hardship. I closed my eyes. He was an authorized user on one of my credit cards, I said slowly. I removed that access. That's not a contract. He also has text messages indicating you agreed to support his business endeavors. My jaw clenched. What text messages? I'm not at liberty to disclose. There is no context where I promised to bankroll his influencer career indefinitely, I snapped. He asked me to add him for shared expenses. He used it for personal shopping. I removed him. Ma'am, my client is prepared to pursue this in Small Claims Co. He can pursue whatever he wants, I said flatly. Tell him I'll see him in court. And I hung up. Then I immediately called my friend Mark, who happens to be a lawyer. He answered on the second ring. What's wrong? I sent him a picture of the letter. He laughed so hard I had to pull the phone away from my ear. Natalie, he said, wheezing, he has no case. This is garbage. Like compost-grade garbage. He thinks it's real. Well, he's living in Fantasyland. Authorized user agreements can be revoked any time. There is no contract. He can't prove promissory estoppel. He can't prove damages. He can't prove intent. He can't prove anything. This is a scare tactic. So what do I do? I'll draft a response that says, no, absolutely not. Please go away. He paused. More professionally worded, of course. Send it. By lunchtime, he had emailed me a perfectly lawyerly, get-lost letter. I printed it, signed it, mailed it certified. That should have been the end. But chaos has a funny way of pacing itself. That evening, I was at a brewery with friends when one of them, Ben, squinted at me over his beer. Hey, Nat, isn't your ex the guy who's been posting those stories about financial abuse all week? I froze. Excuse me? He pulled out his phone, opened Instagram, and thrust it at me. There it was. Story after story about toxic partners who weaponize money, breaking free from controlling relationships, healing after financial manipulation. Not one mention of why the card was cut off. Not one mention of deleting me for engagement. He'd crafted an entire fictional universe where he was the victim. Wow, Ben murmured. He's really going for it. No kidding. I tapped over to Dylan's profile. The 3 photos he'd briefly re-uploaded of us? Gone. Again. He'd erased me twice now. Once wasn't enough. I handed the phone back. I'm done, I said simply. But drama wasn't done with me. The next morning, Wednesday, I woke up to a message request from a new name. Dylan's cousin. Hey, family is taking up a collection to help him out since you abandoned him. Wondering if you'd want to contribute? I stared. Read it again. Then typed, you want me to donate money to support my ex-boyfriend because I stopped letting him use my credit card? The cousin replied, when you put it like that, it sounds bad. That's literally what happened. He's family. He's struggling. Then you help him. We are, but you are the one who caused this. There it was. The entire delusional worldview in one sentence. Me. I caused him to spend my money without permission? Interesting logic. Cousin. You cut him off without warning. Me. He deleted me without warning. Even. Silence. I blocked the cousin. Then, Saturday evening, the doorbell rang. I checked the camera feed and froze. Standing at my door were Dylan, his mother, his best friend, like some unhinged anti-Christmas Carol group. I cracked the door open but kept the chain on. His mother stepped forward. We need to talk, she said sharply. No, I said, we really don't. Yes, we do, she insisted. What you're doing to Dylan is cruel. What I'm doing, I repeated. I'm literally not doing anything. Exactly, she snapped. You're doing nothing while he suffers. He's suffering, I said evenly, because he can't use my credit card anymore. That's not suffering, she said. That's adjustment. He can't afford his content creation expenses now. Do you know what that does to engagement? I blinked. I do not care about his engagement. The best friend jumped in. She's lost followers because she can't post quality content again. She? They all froze. He realized his slip. I meant he corrected quickly. He lost followers. I shook my head. Dylan finally spoke, voice trembling. Nat, why are you being so mean? I said I was sorry. You said you were sorry, I replied. After you tried to manipulate me, smear me online, involve your family, involve my workplace, send me a fake lawyer letter, and lie about me on Instagram. He swallowed. I love you, he whispered. I let the silence stretch until it hurt. No, I said softly. You love what I provided. That's not true. I studied him. The panic, the desperation, the fear of losing the lifestyle, not the relationship. Okay, I said calmly. If you love me, when is my birthday? His eyes widened. What? My birthday, I repeated. Tell me my birthday, Dylan. If you do, I'll consider having this conversation. His mother and best friend looked at him. He opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. The air went cold. That's what I thought, I said quietly. Get off my property. His mother tried to argue, but I shut the door firmly and locked it. They screamed at the door for a while, then left. Hours later, my phone buzzed. A Venmo request. 3,000 for pain and suffering. Declined. A new request. 2 Venmos to make things right. Declined. Then 2,000. Then 1,500. 1,000. 500. 200. Finally, one last request. $50. I just need groceries. For the first time all week, I almost felt bad. Almost. Then I remembered the $30 Starbucks runs he posted last month on my card. Declined. Blocked. I thought that was the end. But the universe wasn't done revealing the truth. By the following Thursday, the storm had quieted just enough for me to breathe again. No new Venmo requests. No texts from 10 different burner numbers. No doorbell ambushes. Just silence. For the first time in days, I felt almost human. And then, late that afternoon, my phone lit up with a call from another unfamiliar number. I nearly ignored it. Nearly. But something in me hesitated and I answered. Hello? A woman's voice, hesitant but clear. Hi, is this Natalie? It's Emma. I'm Dylan's roommate. I blinked. Oh, hi? I know this is weird, she said quickly, but I wanted to give you a heads up before things get uglier. And, honestly, because I can't stand living with him anymore. I exhaled and sank onto my couch. Okay, what's going on? She sighed, the sound heavy and exhausted. Dylan's been telling everyone that you promised, to financially support him for 2 years while he grew his influencer career. He says you encouraged him to quit his part-time retail job to focus on his dreams. My eyebrows shot up. He what? Yeah, she said. That you were basically his sponsor? That cutting off his card was a betrayal of a long-term agreement. I felt my jaw clench. I never said anything remotely like that. I figured, she said. The story changes every time he tells it anyway. Of course it does. And, she continued, he's been telling people he's preparing to sue you for significant damages, like getting a real attorney. He's been bragging about it at the apartment. I actually laughed, a short, tired, incredulous sound. He already tried a fake lawyer, I said. Didn't work. I know, Emma said. He was furious when you didn't fold. But that's not even the craziest part. Of course it wasn't. She took a breath. He's been on dating apps for the past week, like actively, matching with people, messaging nonstop. He posted on Snapchat yesterday about finding someone who truly values him. I closed my eyes. Of course he did. That tracks, I murmured. And, Emma added carefully, he keeps saying you were holding him back, that you were controlling, that leaving you was his plan all along. I snorted. He's the one who got dumped. I know, she said. He's rewriting the entire relationship to make himself look like the victim. It's honestly pathological. I rubbed the bridge of my nose. Thank you for telling me, I said quietly. No problem. And, her voice softened, you dodged a bullet, a big one. After we hung up, I sat in silence for a long time. Not angry, not sad, just processing. Because there it was, laid bare, the truth I'd been circling for days. This relationship had never been a partnership. It had been a transaction. I gave stability, he took it. I gave trust, he leveraged it. I gave love, he accepted it as a subsidy. He didn't miss me. He missed the lifestyle I provided. And realizing it didn't break me, it freed me. That weekend, while dusting the shelves in my living room, I found an old photo album tucked behind a stack of books, actual printed photos from years before everything was digital. I sat cross-legged on the floor, flipping through them. Me at 24, smiling in a too big winter coat. Me at a beach with friends, a picture of my cat as a kitten. Toward the back were photos from the beginning of my relationship with Dylan. There we were, laughing on a rooftop, wind messing up his hair. Our first road trip selfie, cheeks pressed together. A picture he took of me, pretending to steal fries off his plate. We looked happy. I felt a small ache tug at me. Not for him, for the version of me in those photos. Hopeful, trusting, willing to carry more weight than she should. I closed the album and sat with that emotion for a while. After a few minutes, I stood, wiped the dust off my jeans, and got back to cleaning. A soft, quiet closure. On Monday, I made a decision. I deactivated Instagram. Not temporarily, not taking a break. Gone. Just like that. No more checking his stories. No more worrying about what narrative he'd spun next. No more background noise of aesthetics and engagement. Peace in one button. I didn't miss it. Not even a little. That night, while making dinner, my phone buzzed. A message from my best friend, Mara. Dude, did you see Dylan's latest post? I rolled my eyes and typed back. Deactivated, don't care. She replied instantly. He posted a whole carousel about red flags and relationships. One of them is partners who control your finances. The comments are brutal. People are calling him out. Hard. I smiled faintly. Good for them. You really don't want to see? Nope, I'm done. And I meant it. Whatever he posted, whatever story he crafted, it didn't matter anymore. He was busy curating an aesthetic. I was busy building a life. A real one. 2 weeks later, everything had calmed down. His case never went anywhere. My lawyer friend said the final letter they sent, "We are reassessing," was basically legal code for "we give up." His family stopped messaging after I blocked them all. The Venmo requests ended. The flying monkeys retreated. He moved back in with his parents, according to a mutual friend. And me? I was good. Better than good. I started dating someone new, Daniel. We met at a friend's birthday party. He's a teacher, doesn't have Instagram, thinks the influencer world is weird. When I told him the whole story, he blinked, then said, "Wait, he deleted you for aesthetics? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard." I nearly choked laughing. I've started looking at condos. Got pre-approved last week. The money I used to spend covering Dylan's lifestyle now sits in a growing down payment savings account. My closet is no longer filled with things I bought for couple content. My credit card shows only my own actual expenses. My life feels lighter, cleaner, mine. Sometimes I wonder if Dylan ever thinks about what he gave up for a few extra likes. Probably not. He's too busy curating his feed, and I'm too busy curating an actual future. A real one. One where I'm no one's aesthetic, just someone's partner, or no one's at all. But definitely, finally,